Bonjour, ladies and gents. Thanks for tuning in again. Today I'm gonna give my thoughts about today's matches. Day 6 in the French Open. It's the bottom half of the draw. They play the third round matches and all of them are finished now. We saw many of the top seed guys deliver. It was only one guy that didn't deliver today, and that was Stan Wawrinka, that I thought was gonna beat Gaston, a 239 ranked player from France. The French dude took out Stan, the man, in a 5-set battle, and top of the cream, he bageled the poor Swiss in the 5th set. To begin, I'm gonna start with that match. Stan Wawrinka, by now you know that he's unpredictable, he's unreliable, he's inconsistent. He does always what you don't expect from him, at least what I've witnessed. I've never been safe when he plays. I never know if he's gonna win, if he's gonna lose. It's a drama always. Either he blows his opponent off courts, or he celebrates Christmas early, or also like Shapovalov did yesterday. And today, Stan the man didn't want to be more worse than Shapovalov, so he packed his bag. He didn't let his racket talk today. He just made those unforced errors after unforced errors. Many of them didn't even hit the court. He made totally 74 unforced errors in this match and only 49 winners, so not great numbers. The French dude, Gaston, lacks of weapon, to be honest. He's a tricky lefty. Lefties are always tricky. He's shot tolerant. His only way was to go for long rallies, try to lure Stan Wawrinka to the net, mix up the game, and make Stan not standing far away behind the court so he can swing, because Stan has the forehand, he has the serve, he has the deadly backhand, he has the routine, he has the experience, he has plan A, he has a B game. He should have something that he could put up and not lose 6-0, a bagel in the 5th set. I was so frustrated when I saw the match because I watched the two last sets and a little bit of the first set. Played his usual tennis in the first set. He hit those lines with his backhand, with his forehand. He approached the net many times, but too disappointed. He succeeded in only 34 out of 65 attempts and managed to only convert 5 out of 17 break points. That's not okay. And 12 double faults in the match totally. So no, it was 12 unforced errors in the 5th set. That was what I'm gonna say. But Stan Wawrinka, he served terrible in this match. He didn't get rewarded. 60% of his first serves in, 51 of his second serves in. He returned terrible. 37% of Gaston's first serves and 44, I think, of his second serve. A little better number, but the game plan was to hit through this French dude. But he couldn't. He didn't have the right mindset in that match. He did too many unforced errors. A guy like Wawrinka that should beat this guy, because I feel sorry for tennis when the big three retires. We will have many upsets. We'll have many unpredictable Grand Slam winners. Maybe that's funny. Maybe you don't want the same guy to win all the time, but all credits to Gaston. Stan, I'm very disappointed. I wasn't surprised because he has showed his level many times before. I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. I'm just disappointed how we played the 5th and the last set when everything is on stake. You should have taken out your firepower, your experience, your lion heart, your fighting spirit, everything. But he just blow those unforced errors all the time in the 5th set. He was aiming for the stars sometimes. Maybe he was tired, I don't know, but a terrible match by all means by Stan Wawrinka. And big congratulations to Gaston for advancing to the fourth round. He has never gone so far in a bigger tournament. It's his first time. He will now play against Dominic Thiem, of course. Dominic Thiem will play under the roof this time. He's maintaining his winning streak without losing a set. He returned superbly in this match. He was rock solid. He looked super strong, super sharp against the Norwegian Casper Ruud, and he served okay. 67% of his first serves in, 63% of his second serves in, and 49% of the returning game in Ruud's first serve, and 44% of his second serves win in Ruud's second serve, and he did 32 winners and 28 unforced errors. That's okay. He converted 6 out of 15 break points in this match against Ruud, so he's looking sharp. I thought that he was gonna meet Stan Wawrinka, because if Stan Wawrinka will have reached the fourth round, you never know. He can out-hit. He has an upper hand against Dominic Thiem in the head-to-head. I think that he's up 3-1 if I'm not mistaken. So that would have been one of the most interesting matches in the fourth round. One of the matches that I really looked forward to in this tournament in advance, because I thought that he will take a couple of rounds, the old Stan Wawrinka, but he proved me wrong. He made me very sad, actually, because I like his playing style. I like him as a player, because look at what he has done. He has won 3 Grand Slam. Today, when you saw him on court, you can never, if you have never seen this player before, you can possibly think that he have won 3 majors. He has been in 4 finals and beat Novak twice and Rafael Nadal once. That's superb. But anyway, let's go on. The next match I'm going to talk about is the sensation, Sebastian Korda, the 200 ranked player who beat his opponent today. He beat Martinez in 3 straight sets. He convinced me. He's a tricky player. His father was one of the best players in the world in the 90s and early 2000, Peter Korda, a lefty with a superb one-handed backhand. But his son has a right hand and plays with double-handed backhand, so they are not similar in their playing styles. He actually won the Junior Australian Open in 2018, Sebastian Korda. I've heard of him before, but I thought that it's difficult. He was playing challenger tournaments then, and he's an American citizen, not like his father, who was a Czech Republic citizen. But they live in Florida, so he has helped his son to be a great player and developed his game. And Sebastian Korda, the 20-year-old American, will have a great future, I think, because he's bold, he's brave, he has huge firepower. He does a lot of winners. So in the match against Martinez, I think he did 48 winners and 29 unforced errors, and won 78% of his first serves in and 52% of his second serves in. He returned okay also, 37% win in Martinez' first serve and 44% of his second serves. So great numbers, solid performance. Now who will we take on? The guy that barely loses points, the guy that barely drops games, the guy that is the most consistent player I've ever seen. The guy that has won this tournament 12 times. You know what I'm talking about? Rafael Nadal, who demolished the Italian Travaglia in 3 straight sets. In advance, many of you maybe thought, how many games are Nadal gonna drop in this match? 5 games it was. He won 78% of his first serves in and 82% of his second serves in. This Travaglia is a terrible returner. I saw the glimpse of that match. He couldn't put up anything against Nadal. He was like a Ferrari, and Travaglia was like a Fiat Uno. So Nadal, what did he do? He played like he's always done. Consistent, point in, point out. Don't let your opponent breathe. Don't let him think that he can have a chance against you. Don't let him think that I'm gonna disappear for 5-10 minutes. Never. That never happens when Rafa plays. So 28 winners, 13 unforced errors from Rafael's racket. Look at that and compare to Santaval of yesterday and today's 74 unforced errors by Stan the Man Wawrinka. Those are numbers. That's not, those kind of numbers is what make you win the match. And Rafa was always also successful when he approached the net. He won 19 out of 23 attempts. Rafa is a great net player. He barely takes the risk. When he approaches the net, he almost does it when he has 100% chance. You barely see Rafa do things like Shapovalov did. A short drop shot that wasn't even short, it was in the middle of the court and then rushed the net. Rafa doesn't think like that, guys. Rafa is smart. He's tactical genius. But Rafa will now take on Korda. What will he do? How many games will Korda take? I will be very surprised if Korda takes more than 3 games in each set. But he has a great serve, so he can take a couple of games. Why not maybe take Rafa to a tiebreak or 7-5? You never know. You can always dream. In my world, an upset doesn't exist in that matchup. Same as with Thiem against Gaston. All credits to Gaston. He has done a terrific tournament, but he will pack his bag now and let the big boys play. All right, and then we had more. We had Alexander Sasha Zverev, who played against Marco Cecchinato. The journeyman's journey ended here. His honeymoon ended here today, and he has done a great performance so far. But today, Sasha was solid. He only made like 5 double faults. He hit 31 winners and 22 unforced errors in this match. Sasha Zverev looked rock solid in this match from the beginning to the end. So 85% of his first serves in. He won those points. 85%, 50 of his second serves in, and 42% of Cecchinatos' first serve and 50% of his second serve. So he really showed he's the man. He won 2 easy sets. One set, I think it went to, it took a couple of games. I forgot the whole result. But Zverev, all in all, if you compare him to the match before and the match today, it was 2 different players, because Cecchinato plays differently. And Sasha made life difficult for himself in the previous round, but I know when he takes on a grinder, when he takes on an offensive baseline player, he has a better chance of this tricky net approaching, drop shot making players. We have seen him taking out Novak. We have seen him taking out many of the major players. This German golden boy of tennis. So all in all, great performance from Sasha, who he will take on a guy that has gone under the radar, a guy that beat Korean free straight sets, a guy that lives on his huge serve and his huge powerful ground strokes, the Italian dude Jannik Sinner, the next gen champion from last year, the future number 1 maybe in some people's eyes, but I think he's a little bit too big. He's not a super great mover, a super athlete, but he has time on his side. He can develop everything in his game and be much, much, much better than he is now. And Sinner, he met Korea, like I said, and made an extraordinary match. He played like a ATP player that has been on tour for 10-15 years. He was very calm on court. He didn't hesitate. He pulled the trigger when it was necessary. And Zverev will have his probably his most difficult match before the quarterfinals. He will be up for a test against Sinner, because Sinner has a mental toughness also. He's mental tough. He has almost traveled the same road as many of these next-gen players like Tsitsipas, like Deminaur, like Zverev. So he's on his way to taking the next step, and maybe he's ready now, but it will come eventually, because Jannik Sinner is a hell of a player to not be in the top 20, maybe top 10 in the future. But everything can happen. Look what I have hyped Bona Choric 2-3 years ago. I thought that this guy, if he can train hard and be a little bit better, he will be the new Novak, but I was deadly wrong there. Alright, then we have Diego Schwartzman who played against Gombos. That matchup, was it even exciting? Yes, it was in the first set. Because Gombos had 6. He served for the first set twice. He had 6 set points. But somehow Diego came back like he has done in the previous round from when he is in trouble. He squeezes his opponent to do unforced errors. He came back into the match, and after the first set win, it was no talk about who was the best guy. 45% wins in Gombo's first serve, and 41% winnage in his first. 45% in Gombo's first serve and 41% in the second serve. So he returned good. He took care of his weak serve, but he only made 17 winners, and he did 34 unforced errors in that match. But he was more clutch in the first set, and the other 2 sets, the second and the first set, was like cruise control for Diego Schwartzman, and he served great, not super great, but he's not a great server. He just put the balls in play. He won 63% of his first serves in and 49% of his second serves in. So all in all, Diego Schwartzman, great job, expected victory. What do you more expect from him in that match? He did exactly what he has done through the tournament. So he will meet the Italian dude Sonego, who beat Taylor Fritz in a 3-set battle with a super exciting third set. I think he won the tiebreak there 18-16 or something like that. I thought maybe he had plenty of match points, and then Fritz had plenty of set points, but he managed to keep the distance short. He didn't take the match to 4 sets. He sealed the deal and is now in the 4th round. Great result for him. Also 3 Italian dudes in the 3rd round together with Berrettini, Sinner. The Italian tennis looks good. So let me tell you one thing. Forget about Fonini. He's done. We have more players. We have Travaglia. We have Musetti, upcoming star. We have a couple other dudes that has crashed up in this French Open. So Fonini is not my favorite Italian player anymore. That is Jannik Sinner. Alright, a little bit about the matchup. Nadal against Korda, Thiem against Gaston, Zverev against Sinner, and Schwartzman against Sonego. Those are the 4th round matches in the bottom half of the draw. Tomorrow we're gonna enter the 4th rounds. We see what Novak Djokovic does. We will see what Matteo Berrettini does, and we have a great meeting between PCB and RBA. I think that's the first match. And then we have the Greek against Rublev, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So tomorrow we have plenty of, and we have Garin against Khachanov, and Novak, who is he meeting? I forgot. It was not a tough opponent. I think it was, who was it? Oh, forget about that. Alright, thanks for watching this video. Take care. Bye bye.